Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is the 22nd of July, 2024. We have a lot to cover. Mr. Logic, you're Mr. Logic, nailed it again. We're not political pundits here. But when we talk politics, we do it without bias, agenda, ulterior motive. We use precedent. We use thought. And we use a good ear to convey to you what we are thinking. And when we told you 6 months ago that Joe Biden would not be the candidate, that they would throw him under the bus, we meant it. 3 weeks ago, 2 to 3, when we said to you he was not going to last till August 1st, we gave that as the date. We meant it. I believe Tuesday of last week, we said to you, I don't think he's going to get through Sunday. Joe Biden became no longer a candidate for the next 4 years. Yesterday, Sunday. And I want to strip away the BS because they're very good at BS. You know what Washington has turned into? The greatest BS artists in the history of time. The greatest con artists that we have ever seen. Corrupt, influence peddling, on and on and on. Some low level, some high level, some mid level. Did we even know anything? Do we have an inner circle in Joe Biden's family that we said to you by Sunday? No. Let me tell you what we did know so you have a good understanding. The media, who is corrupt as anyone, who was driving the bus to get him out over the last 3 weeks because the likes of Obama, Pelosi, and others silently went to their media friends and said, this is what we need. So the media started driving him out. The pundits took their cue, started driving him out. The late night bozo shills turned tail. Somebody like Colbert, who's been kissing Biden's butt since day one, asks him to get out. We love you, but get out. That was the line. That didn't do it either. What did it, and we told you this up front, was the dollar signs. You see, in collusion with all, from the celebrities, George Clooney, to the billionaires and the millionaires. You know the billionaires and millionaires, right? The ones that Joe Biden says are tax cheats. They all stopped dead in their tracks with their wallets. They were directed. We need your help. And early last week, they leaked the media. Remember, nothing by accident. That the donors have stopped giving. And that was the day we came on air and said, he is not lasting to Sunday. It was a gimme. Which leads me to the next point. Democracy. We have been told by these people, democracy, Donald Trump, democracy. Donald Trump is going to kill democracy. Donald Trump this, Donald that. They wouldn't even know how to spell the word democracy. This was I don't know if you call it a coup, but this was a determined effort on them to get rid of him. A job well done. Just letting you know. They're now telling us how courageous Joe Biden is. What a great American he was for stepping down. I purposefully did something I never do, is I turned on the extreme left pundits wetting their pants about how wonderful he is and how much he cares about America, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. Wait a minute. These are the same people that telling us how great of a president he was. What an unbelievable track record that he had. Why do they want him out? What could be the reason? You don't want to get rid of somebody that's done a magnificent job as president. Here's why. One word. Power. Their power. You see, if Joe Biden was going to lose, the down ballots would lose and they'd be all out on their arses. That's why. So we're just letting you know. He didn't choose to get out. He was forced out. They don't think he's the greatest president. They are lying about that to save face. The ones that say we know nothing about it, they are the ones that did it. Nothing on purpose from D.C. That's all. That's the story. That's how we knew. The dollars. That's what these people live off of. That's what they care about. They're scum. Remember years ago. Do you remember? Campaign finance reform. Do you remember what they told us? You remember. There's too much money in elections. Got to get rid of it. You know what they did? They changed up the rules and created super PACs and PACs that you can give unlimited amounts of money to the point where we're being told $1.5 billion is going to be spent on a presidential election on each side. $1.5 billion. We're multi-zillionaires. You know, the privileged few are given. Elon Musk said he's given $45 million a month to get Trump elected. Wait a minute. They told us campaign finance reform will take money out of politics. They lied. So we're here now. And what's their next job? By the way, this has everything to do with you and your money and the markets and the economy and all that stuff, but we'll get to that later. What's the media's next lie? What's their next job? Their next job is to take a vice president that could only get 1% in the primaries against Marxists like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and turn her in to God. Magnificent, wonderful, magnificent record for the people. Everything we need going forward. Yes, oh yes. Let us forget, she polled 1%. Let us forget that she was named the Czar of the Border. The Czar of the Border. Let us forget that. Let us forget that when she was running the law in California, she was putting a lot of blacks in jail for smoking weed. Let us forget that. Nothing ever bad ever happened under Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Of course, they say you're racist if you pronounce her first name wrong. And it's a tough first name, by the way. It's not like Gary. So they're out there today telling us she's the greatest. They're out there now telling us, not making this up, Trump's old. Biden wasn't. Trump is. So just letting you know, the collusion of the media and the pundits is now at the biggest fever pitch I have ever seen. But there's an issue for them, and that is she's going to have to perform over the next few months. I gather there'll be a debate, maybe two. She's going to have to perform. She's going to have to answer. And all I can tell you, if you watch videos of her debates, amongst other things, oh boy, it's going to get interesting. Up next, tidbits on all this. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
So, she's going to have to defend on video that we need less of a population. Less people. She's going to have to defend that when the Black Lives Matters people were rioting and destroying cities, that she said she hopes they do more. She's going to have to defend no fracking. She's going to have to defend. No longer is she in the shadows of being vice president. She's going to have to defend. Interesting. Now, but you also need to know some real important facts. First off, we think we're screwed no matter what. And as you know, we wanted two different candidates. The last person I wanted was Donald Trump and the Republican candidate. But we deal with what's in front of us. Even though she polled at 1% in the primary, I am guaranteeing you, listen carefully, this is going to be a close election. And the reason is, D's are D's and R's are R's. And this will, without a doubt, get emotions riled up. And I don't say that as a put down. I mean that. And actually will work in favor of the Dems. That's why I've been amazed why the Republicans have been pissing all over Biden. He's a much worse candidate than her. It's still a very much 50-50 type country. Oh, it's going to get interesting. What else am I thinking about? I'm actually worried about Joe Biden's health. We're told he has COVID. But it's very weird that they put this out on a tweet and he has not been seen. I've had COVID. Many of you had COVID. I hope he's okay. We hope he has good health. What else am I thinking? Well, here's a little message to Trump. And if you are in his purview, or you love him and you want him to win, he's already screwing up. Call this constructive criticism. He's back to name calling. You know, when he did Little Marco and all that, he's back to doing that. Now, in case you do not know, he lost the election to Biden because in many states, people that voted all Republican on the ballot didn't vote for him. See, normally people get a ballot and they don't even know who anybody is. But if they're a Democrat, Democrat all the way down. Republican, Republican all the way down. A bunch of ballots in states went Biden, everything else Republican. That's why he lost. And do you know what he lost with? Women. Well, guess what? He's calling names again. I wish somebody would get a hold of him, but I don't think he listens. He said unity, but he's back to his norm. And I'm letting you know, as bad as Kamala Harris is, and let me just state for the record, she's about as close to commie as I've ever seen. By the way, she's called for equity of outcome. You know what that is? Not equity of opportunity, where we all have the same chance to be something or become something. It's, I don't care what chance you had, we're going to make sure you're even Steven at the end. She's on video. This should be a gimme. But he's already with the name calling. And I'm letting you know, every vote's going to count in those 5 or 6 states. And somebody better get a hold of him. If I was Trump, when Biden went out, this is what I would have said. We thank him, and the Republican Party thanks him for his service. We wish him the best of health and Godspeed for a great future. And that's it. Nope. Tired, lazy, boring Joe. This ain't gonna work. Just letting you know. So we had to get that out also. What else? Interesting. Her favorability numbers are terrible. But so are Trump's. That's where it gets interesting. And what do we mean by that? There's just these favorability numbers no matter what. Forget the vote part. It's how popular you are. Both of them are very low down because they are both, I guess the word divisive to a certain extent. That's going to play a part. If I was Trump now, I would be saying the words border czar every hour on the hour. If I was Trump now, I'd be putting out a list of 20 things you buy at the store that are up 40% in the last 2 years and play videos of Kamala and Biden saying it's transitory every hour on the hour. That's what I'd be doing. Not pissing people off. Will anybody challenge her? Well, they should, but I doubt it. The elders have talked and told anybody who tried would get kicked in a certain spot where you sing soprano. There were rumors about Manchin that other creep, Joe Manchin, but he's backed away. Others like the slug running California into the ground, he's backed away. So unless something really goes haywire, it's going to be Kamala Harris or Donald Trump as your next president. But there are a couple other things I have to bring up because CNN's John King said on whether they would pick Mr. Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, as vice president, said, well, there's risk because he's Jewish. I'll touch on that, and then the markets. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
This is how bad it is. On the left, John King of CNN said that there's a risk to pick Shapiro because he's Jewish. Why? Because if they lose Michigan, they're really screwed. The Muslim vote. That's how crazy it is. Those terrible Jews. It's amazing. And now we're finding out Kamala Harris will not preside over the Senate. When Bibi Netanyahu speaks on Wednesday, one word, Michigan. She makes me vomit already as a Jew. They're already calculating who they can or cannot piss off in order to get votes. And now they kowtow to the anti-Semites. I had to bring that up. Unfortunately, and lastly, we'll probably have more things the rest of the week. Just be careful of the slugs. Slugs. You know what I mean by slugs, right? You know what a slug is? A BS artist. A joke. You ever hear of a guy named John Meacham? Well, he's a historian, a presidential historian, but he's also a hack for the left. He's out today saying what the wonderful thing Biden did, especially when he's one of the greatest presidents of consequence, because look at our prosperity. And I'm reading it, and the first words that came to my mouth was, huh? What? The man is running $2 trillion deficits. His spending is guaranteed. We're going to go from 35 to 60 trillion over the next 10 years. We've already given $1.17 trillion towards interest this year on the debt. Prosperity. Skyrocketing prices for almost everything. Prosperity. Skyrocketing usage of credit cards. Prosperity. If I met Mr. Meacham, as you know, I always say I will only say to you what I would say to them. I would tell him to kiss my prosperity. He also went and said how things are so much better around the globe. So much better around the globe under Joe Biden. Nah, Haiti, where gangs are eating each other. No, really, cannibalism. China going more communist than they have in decades. Russia invading Ukraine. Hamas. The Taliban taking over Afghanistan and putting women back into the Stone Age. China with the Uyghurs. Russia kidnapping journalists. 5 Americans held hostage in Gaza. Shall I continue? John Meacham. I wish we were on satellite because I'd really use the word I want to, so I'll just use the regular word since we're radio. Be careful of the bullcrap. It is out in droves, like I have never seen. They've got a job to do. And they will do anything and say anything to get the job done. Me, I'm just depressed. As you know, I'd rather have 2 others. Whoever wins, let's hope they do a good job. But we have a lot of evidence. Next. Serenity Now. So we're segueing, by the way. You know that big word I use? Good day today. Better day. And it was an up day. And we got asked today, boy, oh boy, look, the semiconductors up 210 today. Wow, a little less than 4%, 3.8. But it was down 670 over the last 7 days. Remember, everything from where? The NASDAQ up 280 to 18,000 again. Go look at how far it came down. NASDAQ 100 up 300. Go look how far it came down. So before you get all excited, the good news is, had a good day today. Had a good day today. Good bounce. You're going to need more than one day. Just letting you know. The good news, remember what we said about the small and mid caps? Had a good day today. They started down, finished nicely. Looks like that pullback constructive. We'll see if it continues. And what's going on with small and mid caps is the broader market. You see today you had regional banks were up again today. Something like United Rentals was up nicely again. And some of the economically sensitive. Housing related was up again today. Some of the transports were up. So we're just letting you know, not bad at all. But, I repeat, careful. We always wary about when things get what we call wide and loose. Big ups, big downs. And volume was light today, and the drops volume was heavy. But good day, we will not argue. But again, when ASML Holdings drops $190 and rallied up 42 today, make that 45. It's good it rallied up 45, but down from 192. Lam Research was up $60 today. It's still down 160 from 2 Thursdays ago. Remember, everything we do is pattern recognition based on where things have come from. But the small and mid's good. Broad market finished well. And tomorrow's another day. And of course, thousands and thousands and thousands of earnings reports to come out. Verizon coughed one up today on earnings. But Truist, the old SunTrust, good reaction. Verizon caused problems. Apple was actually down today with the NASDAQ up 280 because Apple, Verizon, they do, the Apple and Verizon. And they were saying some things. So we'll see. And I believe we mentioned a bunch of earnings reports to you last week. There's a ton. And what our job is now is we work an extra couple of hours at night, up an extra hour in the morning, because all these things that come out, what we have to do is see where they're gapping up or down and where they're gapping up or down to, seeing what they reported, but more importantly, the guidance, and more importantly, the reaction, and then see what group they're in and what else is going on in the group. And then close our eyes, hold our nose, and pray. That was sarcasm. Actually, we've tried it, and it does not work. Markets do not care about prayer. Sorry. Don't get mad at me for saying that. Just the way it is. And with companies like GM and GE and PACCAR and Spotify and Google and UPS and Tesla and Seagate Technologies and Visa and Texas Instruments and IBM and Chipotle. By the way, it's true. Chipotle's portions are getting smaller. And KLA-Tencor and Qualcomm and the waste management companies and Honeywell and the Dow. There's a lot to cover. And what we always hope are stocks that nobody's ever heard of or don't know shoot out of a cannon, because all of a sudden, whatever product or service they have is now skyrocketing. Always have an interest in that. Up next, what else do we have in our bag today? I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
So if you have a chance and you haven't eaten yet, because if you watch you'll be nauseous, turn on something like MSNBC and watch them bow down to this woman and treat her like God's gift. They have one person on there that's basically saying Trump wasn't shot. Insanity rules. That's all I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Other things today. CrowdStrike down another $41 today. This is the leading software security company that closed Thursday at $343. It's at $263 today. $80 times 2 is 16. $19 billion in market cap lost since what happened. And somebody had downgraded it today and said, we think they're going to lose business. I do believe that will be correct. And I do believe, from what I am reading, and I had no idea, that there's a lot of companies that use CrowdStrike and nobody else, not spreading the risk. That's going to change. And they really harmed some things. My son had a Delta flight from New York City to Miami at 3:30 p.m. Saturday. At 11:30 p.m., he gave up. And why? He was there were pilots, and they just manually took the pilots away and put him on another flight. He went home. At 1:30 a.m., they canceled the flight to 9:30 in the morning. He got a $24 voucher for food. The flight didn't leave at 9:30 a.m. They changed it to 3:30 p.m., where I stopped watching. Who knows when it left. And all I was thinking to myself is, wow, people flying from New York to Miami. What goes out of Miami a lot? Oh, cruise ships. People miss their cruises probably. And just so you know, you really couldn't get another flight. Because the next day, there was like one flight left, and they were charging $1,000 for economy. Talking about gouging, I'll give it to Biden on that. There was some gouging there, and couldn't get a flight today. So my son did an audible. He's coming to visit me tomorrow, and we'll hang out for the week. And then at the end of the week, I'm heading back up with him to New York to see mis parientes. I think that's how you pronounce it. So very tough go for the travel industry. I'm really not sure of others. I know we had some issues here with our trading platform. But that got ironed out and didn't harm me in any way, shape, or form. But you would think that they're going to make sure this doesn't happen again. But leave no doubt, it means we're vulnerable because there's a lot of bad people out there who would love to hack the hell out of us. And they're probably licking their chops. We shall be watching that. But CrowdStrike, wow. Great company, too. Great CEO also. Speaking of not so great, so they had to bring this up, by the way. Secret Service lady who runs it. She was on Capitol Hill today. She made the presidents of the Ivy League schools up on Capitol Hill talking about what happened with the anti-Semite racists on their college campuses threatening Jews. She today made them look good. That's how bad she was. But she's a lot more important because look what the job of Secret Service is. She should resign just based on the fact she's screwing her own people who are out in the field risking their lives. She was terrible, nightmarish, and prepared nightmarish, meaning she knew what she was going to say, and it was still that bad. And boy, oh boy, some four-letter words were thrown out. That was a rough going. And nothing personal. She sucked. And she should not be the head of the Secret Service. A very, very important cog in the wheel of defending, I use the term very loosely these days, leadership in D.C. for obvious reasons. And as I have said to you here, I'm no security expert, but I am Mr. Logic. What's the first thing, the second thing, and the third thing you do as a security for something like that event where Trump was speaking? You secure the roofs. How hard is that to figure out? Duh! And when asked about that, she kind of shuffled around it, the answer. Stunning. That was in Secret Service thingamabob today. And that's that. So, ladies and gentlemen, with no bias, agenda, or ulterior motive, we will cover now what is Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump for the presidency. We're a lot of meaning because there's the House and Senate elections also. We will cover it without any bias, ulterior motive, agenda, or favor, as we've done today. Why? We the people. We define this country by us, not by them. Unfortunately, there are a few too many people that define their lives by them. I don't understand it. But more power to those people. Respect them all. I have a couple of best friends that love Joe Biden. Respect them. We will be ruthless with our compliments and ruthless with our critiques. Can you be ruthless with compliments? I guess you can. You get the point. We want somebody who's just going to get the hell out of our way. Low taxes, less regulations, less control, less size of government, strong defense, the backing of police, anti-crime, strong border, How hard is that? Until tomorrow, you'll have a great evening. Drive carefully. TV tomorrow, not sure. And when you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better, I promise. What other predictions we have going forward? We'll let you know. But we nailed that to the day for you based on the dollars. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.